You cannot escape from death.
I have covered the rivalry between Nee and Arslan pretty extensively. I tried to stay as biased as possible, but of course I have my biases and of course I get into trouble from time to time. But generally I think both of these players are the best to ever do it. I mean, even Arslan was saying that Nee and the Korean scene in general like taught every player so much about the game. I mean, it's literally in the name, Korean backdash. To undermine their influence over Tekken is ludicrous. But also, Arslan and what the Pakistanis have accomplished in 6 years cannot be understated. They are the strongest region. Arslan is the strongest player. I remember when Arslan first arrived on scene and he was saying that people back home is stronger than him. We see that Atif is really good. He's able to really challenge Arslan. But it seems like Arslan just leveled up. And that interview that he did where he was talking about Pakistani culture and he was talking about how all of the little skirmishes he had back in the Tekken 6 days with local arcade bosses, stories like that really humanizes the Pakistani players and the journey that they're on. The rivalry between Nee and Arslan made all of Evo special. So many players were more engaged in what was happening on the screen. So many players tuned in when they probably wouldn't have before. A good rivalry can make everything more exciting, but also much more toxic. To show you what I mean, here's the chat summary when the tournament was going on. Viewers in the chat are discussing the Tekken tournament, commentating on players like Arslan and Nee, and expressing various opinions about the matches and gameplay. Some users are making offensive and racist remarks. This was the case all throughout the weekend. You had a lot of players who were making fun of Arslan, making fun of Nee, teasing, right? Because this is the internet. We meme, we have a laugh, we have a ball. A lot of people were doing that. When you talk about cursed image of Atif and Arslan both playing Anna, mirror match grand finals, you have this image here where Arslan said Anna is super broken. This is on June 6th, but then on April 3rd, he said I can never main Lily, Anna, Brian, Paul, and Ling. But then he shows up to Evo with Deanna. So you have just tweets like these where players are just making fun of the whole situation, you know, having a good time. But then there was just second wave of players who were just vicious and brutal. If you said anything good about Nee, you were going to get landslided. If you said anything good about Arslan, you were going to get landslided. It really felt like one of those toxic political debates where like you split it in half. Okay, you're red, you're blue, and both sides just try to kill each other. And really, that's not what the rivalry should be. I'm happy that people are like invested into the story, invested into what's happening, you know, at Evo, at the tournament, but it shouldn't go that far, right? There's a point where it goes too far, and I think we definitely hit it. Me personally, I think both of these guys are doing really good. You know what I thought was really funny? Spaghetti Rip. Spaghetti Rip has a lot of good takes. Sometimes he has some bad takes. But he was looking at this thing from a whole different perspective. Spaghetti Rip said on Twitter, the worst thing about Tekken getting bigger has been dealing with the incredibly rude armchair experts and fanboys that have next to no reading comprehension. This is something that I noticed in my stream as well, where someone would show up and they would say something that doesn't make sense at all, but then they will call you like slurs or slander or something. It would be like Arslan great, suck you, and it's like, wait, what? It's like, hold on, repeat that one more time. What the person is saying is so incoherent to where you can't even be offended. And it's interesting because Spaghetti Rip says, honestly, I'm convinced many of them are AI bot accounts. I do like this tweet that Spaghetti Rip also made about Nee. He says, I've been seeing Nee slander on the timeline, so I will explain for people who don't know. Nee isn't called the GOAT just because he won some majors through the decades and multiple Tekken titles. He's called the GOAT because he set the standard and was someone who every region, including Pakistan, looked to and learned from. The impact he has on Tekken as a game and on us as a community is immeasurable. Once again, the most easiest way to point to this impact is literally the Korean backdash. I mean, it's getting out of hand is what Zumio says. Muted Arslan, Brian, and Brian top one forever. The conversation was fun at the start, but sometimes these rivalries dominate the timeline. They dominate the discussion, and it gives room for nothing else to breathe. I think this tournament is really great, and it set up the stage for EWC to be a magnificent event. But at the same time, we do got to get a handle on all of the toxicity. This is a common theme throughout Tekken, where players are just very angry all the time, whether it be at the developers, whether it be at content creators, whether it be at the game, whether it be at an individual character, whether it be at pro players. There's never a time when players don't overreact and take it to the next level. This rivalry was amazing. Every day, Arslan gave us something new to talk about. I felt like Arslan was feeding me, like high chair, bib on. Arslan's feeding me because like it was nonstop action, nonstop content, nonstop drama. But at the same time, we just gotta appreciate these events for what they are and not take it to the next level. Is what Arslan and Atif was able to do is phenomenal. You would be a fool to undermine their skill, their talent. And also, I think even though they're playing the characters Anna, I was saying all throughout Evo, it doesn't matter that they're playing Anna. They have proved multiple times before that they can do this on any character. A lot of people forget the past. A lot of people forget that Arslan Ash won a Tekken World Tour with Katarina. A lot of people forget that when Akuma was considered low tier, the Pakistani players went against the grain and proved everyone wrong. People forget that Arslan has dominated with Noctis before. People forget that Arslan has dominated with Lucky Chloe before. Go back and watch a Tekken 7 video and listen to the way the main man Sweet talked about Lucky Chloe, and then go watch a tournament of Arslan playing her in tournament, right? So I'm just saying that the Pakistanis at this point in time have proved that they are not carried by the characters, even though they do play incredibly strong characters. There's multiple different times and instances where they play low tier characters or characters who's considered to be trash, and the outcome is still the same. At a certain point in time, we have to give them their respect, bro. We have to say that they are number one, and it's undisputed number one, 6-time Evo champion. Bro is almost putting up Sonic Fox numbers, and that guy Sonic Fox is out there playing Moron Combat. Nobody plays that. What? Sonic Fox is playing a bunch of chalk eaters taking victory laps. Arslan is really going against people who play Tekken like their whole lives, playing Tekken at a tournament level for 30 years, and then Arslan continuously beats them. But also something else you have to say as well is that Arslan, a lot of people are saying like, Knee's washed up. He needs to retire. Knee sucks. Get out of here, old man. I see a lot of takes like that, and I'm like, hold on. Yes, Arslan is better than Knee, but we just can't disrespect the GOAT. Knee, once again, has done so much for Tekken, but also let's ignore that and just talk about the rivalry between Arslan and Knee. When Arslan first showed up, he had a foot up on everyone. He was bodying. It took me some time before he can actually beat Arslan, and these two have went back and forth basically since that point. But if you take into consideration their most recent battle, not Evo, but going back further, they did a 1-10 at that Korea-Pakistan event, and Knee bodied Arslan 10-2. So when people try to pretend that Knee is just like washed up and he can't even compete, it's kind of unfair because Knee did beat Arslan in the most recent 1-2 that they did, right? Now, yes, Knee fell very short in this tournament. He didn't make top 30, even though in the pre-Evo tournament, he made it to grand finals. Then he started to sandbag against Arslan. He didn't pull out the Brian. Still, you just got to be fair when critiquing these characters, critiquing the players, and just analyzing the whole situation. I mean, that's how we got to this point where the conversation is so heated and so toxic, is because players aren't respecting the other players' journey. And to show how wrong those guys are, even though the rivalry between Knee and Arslan is heated, even Arslan gives respect to the Koreans, and the Koreans give respect to Arslan. When Arslan won, so many people were celebrating his victory all across Twitter, and there's no need to take it to that next level, right?